there was a Blake Griffin play. You might as well play funeral music for Blake Griffin's career. At the end of the Toronto-Detroit game, I was watching this, my wife and I. It was really sad. Blake Griffin, as DeMar DeRozan was driving down the court, Blake Griffin moved out of the way for DeMar DeRozan to jam the ball. And it was like, if I'd have told you 5 years ago, Blake Griffin, the dunk king in the league, would move out of the way so a guard could jump over him. It's like Blake Griffin's got 5 to 6 more years, but his career officially ended last night. I mean, it was like they're a 9th seed in the East. They're out of playoff contention, whereas Chris Paul last night won his 17th straight game for Houston. That's Blake's former teammate. And Blake Griffin's had such a highlight-driven career that it ended last night on the best highlight of the night, which is DeMar DeRozan going for a jam, Blake Griffin being there and moving out of the way. And it's ironic that he was playing a team called the Raptors, and now Blake Griffin is extinct. It's officially the end. DeMar DeRozan took the ball length of the floor, and Blake at the end by the rim moved out of the way. It's the end of Blake Griffin's career as we know it. I'm just sitting there like, Blake, he's a 2-guard. You were jumping over a Kia at the Staples Center 5 years ago. You were literally there finding, like, automobiles for you to jump over, freeway systems, buildings. And now it's like, here comes a 2-guard. I'm out of here. And Chris Paul won his 17th straight game. Funeral services will be held at a Detroit home game. It's a Viking funeral. Funeral services will be in, where are they playing? Auburn Hills? Oh, they're in downtown. The new arena is downtown. Funeral services at the MGM in Detroit this weekend. By the way, this was an interesting stat. I always thought Blake Griffin was overrated. The Clippers are better since they traded Blake Griffin. And the Clippers are better since they traded Blake Griffin than the Pistons are since they acquired Blake Griffin. Now, so the Clippers are better in the tougher West since he left than the Pistons are since he arrived in the weaker East. What does that tell you about Blake Griffin? No. Most NBA, the media to me, they're fanboys. And outside of like Woj, a lot of NBA guys are fanboys. And it's like, after a guy goes 8-0, I told you Derrick Rose wouldn't last. I told you Melo wouldn't last. Told you Blake wouldn't last. Every NBA fanboy is like, oh my God, wreck the league. I've been telling you for years. Melo, John Wall, super talented. Never going to be a guy that galvanizes a room that a bunch of guys want to go to D.C. and play for. He gets hurt, they're better without him. Are you reporting or are you supporting? Blake Griffin's always been a highlight player. He's not a great player. He makes nobody better. He still can't shoot a 16-footer reliably in the league. Carmelo Anthony mails it in defensively. He's a ball stopper on the. You watch a game and he's like not even he's the NBA 1994. Like put the pom poms down when you watch the NBA. Like I've never been into 3 or 4 guys that everybody else fell into. Am I just a genius or am I the only person that's not supporting stars and I'm reporting? By the way, Westbrook now, people are finally turning on Westbrook going, oh yeah, he doesn't make anybody better. Well, you could see that 3 years ago. You could watch analytics and look at stats that Kevin Durant ended up getting the ball late in shot clocks and having to hoist up jumpers from the corner. Watch the games. Like, did anybody play basketball? Everybody played basketball. Kevin Durant had the most guarded shots in the NBA when he played with Westbrook. Just turn the television on and watch for 5 minutes and put the pom-poms down. I'm not brilliant here. I've never been a Blake guy. I've never been a Melo guy. I've never been a Westbrook guy. Never been a D Rose guy. Now there are guys like Chris Paul. I've been championing Chris Paul for years. Finally, he leaves the Clippers. Goes to the Rockets, gets a great teammate, gets a guard-friendly coach, gets the best GM arguably in the sport. His career goes up. It's not being smart. It's just everybody listening played basketball. Don't overanalyze it. If you're a small player, 6'4" and under, if you can't shoot, you're in trouble. John Wall can't shoot. Westbrook can't shoot. Can't shoot. So Westbrook, John Wall, Derrick Rose can't shoot. If you're under 6'4" in this league and you're not an elite shooter, you're in trouble. Because you're going to have to go to the rim to score. You're going to get beat up. John Wall's had surgeries. John Wall's hurt again. Westbrook's been hurt. Derrick Rose get hurt. Steph Curry can sit outside and shoot. Steve Nash can sit outside and shoot. Career lasts longer. It's a general rule in basketball. 6'4", 6'4.5" and under. You better be able to shoot. You better be able to get cheap shots on the outside. And if you're a big, even now you better develop some perimeter game. But the biggest question about basketball has always been, are you joyful to play with? Do you make others around you better? And Westbrook doesn't, and Derrick Rose doesn't, and John Wall doesn't, and Carmelo doesn't, and Blake. Basketball's not that difficult to figure out. Don't confuse raw talent with makes a team better. Blake Griffin has more raw talent than Chris Paul. Chris Paul makes a team better and makes teammates better. Blake Griffin is talented. I mean, we've all worked with people in this business. I've worked with people at ESPN. We have a much smaller staff here, but at ESPN, there were talented people that nobody wanted to work with. They were really talented, but nobody wanted to be in the room with them. That's a big difference. Okay, and it's the same in NBA. It's like, not that how can I keep getting it right with these guys like great talent? No. Like, I was never an Iverson guy, never a D Rose guy, never a Blake guy. It's not hard to figure out. Now, there are guys that I love. Karl Anthony Towns, I really love his game. But it's hard because the league has moved away from bigs. So I think Karl Anthony Towns is outrageously gifted, but the league now does not benefit centers. It's forcing all these 7-foot guys to go out beyond the arc, which is not their game. It's not. So I'm not saying, like, Karl Anthony Towns is a monster and I love his game. But I do really believe to win a championship, he's probably got to be your second most important player. The game can't go through him. It's got to go through a perimeter guy, a Butler guy, or an Andrew Wiggins guy. But if basketball is not that difficult, just report, don't support, and the answers are all right there. It's a pretty simple game, right?
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.